Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Vision to Victory podcast, where we discuss practical ways to turn your dreams into reality. Let's talk about happiness. We all want it, whether we realize it or not. We all pursue it. So, what exactly is it? What are we after? What is happiness? And look, it's important to clarify because there are a lot of misconceptions of what it is and where it comes from. I want to start with a definition from Dr. John A. Schindler. He's a best-selling author, renowned researcher on the topic of happiness, and he defines it as a state of mind in which our thinking is pleasant a good share of the time. A state of mind in which our thinking is pleasant a good share of the time. There's multiple things I like about this definition, but I want to hone in on the first few words there. Happiness is a state of mind. A state of mind. It's not a destination. It's not a feeling. It's not an achievement. It's not a relationship. Simply put, it's internal, not external. And I think most of us are aware of this on some level, or have heard some version of this, but you'll never be truly happy if you're looking for it in people or things. And again, I know that can be a little cliche, or, maybe we've all heard something like, money won't make you happy. It's like, okay, that's great. The challenge is it's abstract. It's not concrete. It's not actionable. There's nothing you can really do with that. I want to bring some substance and clarity to this topic of happiness, which begs the question, why? Why are we talking about this? Am I just talking about this so that we can all be a little happier? And while we do all want to be a little happier, the reason for me talking about this is not just that. The reason I'm talking about this, and the reason why I believe we should all care, is that there's a copious amount of research and data spanning several decades. And look, the data is very clear. Happy people are more successful, they're more creative, they're more effective and motivated than their unhappy counterparts. They're significantly more likely to achieve their goals and realize their dreams. And look, since that's what we're after on this channel, it's very relevant, hopefully, to all of us. And again, not to mention, we all, of course, could use a little more happiness in our lives. So I want to talk about the three very common states of mind that cannot coexist with happiness. So again, we've defined happiness as a state of mind in which most of our thoughts are pleasant. So these are three competing states of mind, again, that cannot coexist with happiness. And then we'll give three mindsets that we can replace each of these with and talk about the differences. So the three states of mind that cannot coexist with happiness are busyness, anxiety, and depression. Now, to be clear, I have experienced all of these many times in my own life, likely that you have as well. So let's talk about what we can replace these with, what the counterweight is, or the mindset that we can use to combat each of these, and we'll talk a little bit about the differences. So instead of busy, think productive. So busy focuses on how much you're doing, like how many tasks you're getting done each day. Productive focuses on the importance and the quality of what you're doing. I'm going to say that one more time. Busy focuses on how much you're doing. Productive focuses on the importance and the quality of what you're doing. And again, this is in relationship to your goals and the life that you're interested. This is not important to somebody else. This is not, your employer's asking you to do this. Is where you're spending your time and energy productive in that it leads you to where you want to go. Now, on the busy note, I feel like this is maybe one of the most overused words of the last decade, right? Yeah, somebody, how's it going? I'm really busy. How's work? It's really busy. And it's almost like a badge of honor or something. And I've been that person, by the way. I used to take pride in having back-to-back meetings as if that meant that I was, being very productive or working very hard, and they are not at all the same thing. So again, we want to think productive. Is what we're doing important, and are we doing the important stuff really well? And again, importance in relation to the life that we're after. Is what we're doing, where we're spending our time and energy, moving us forward towards the life that we want? Okay. That's busy versus productive. Let's talk about anxious versus peaceful. It kind of makes me chuckle when I say this because obviously we would all prefer peace versus anxiety. But I think sometimes we just take our feelings at face value and assume that they are the inevitable result of whatever we're experiencing in our situation. And while our situation certainly can and does affect our state of mind, we have far more control than many of us realize. And there are definitely things that we can direct our attention to that reduce anxiety and increase the feeling of peacefulness. So, again, instead of anxious, think peaceful. The difference is anxiety focuses on the past or the future, and peaceful focuses on the present. Now, look, this is not comprehensive, and there are certainly more bullets or thoughts to each of these. But if I had to nutshell the most important features of kind of an anxious mindset versus a peaceful one, it literally is this exactly. If you're anxious about something, again, if I'm anxious about something, I can speak very personally to this. I am worrying about something either that is coming down the line in the future or some meeting that I have or something I need to prepare for, something I need to do, or something that happened in the past. I've experienced both. For me, it's usually future stuff that makes me anxious, just thinking about all the things I have to do or want to do, and maybe feeling like I don't have enough time or some version of that. But if we want to be peaceful, we have to focus on the present, be present wherever we're at. If you're outside, take time to feel the breeze or the sun on your face. In the morning, I love to hold my coffee up to my nose and just to smell the cup of coffee in the morning. For whatever reason, it's peaceful to me. And because in that moment, I'm right there. And the same goes for meetings and conversations. If you're talking with somebody or you're in a meeting, be in the conversation or be in the meeting. Listen to what's being said in order to understand what is not only what is being said, but what that person is feeling and really what they're trying to communicate. This will not only improve your state of mind, from anxious to peaceful, but it'll help all your relationships as well. So again, instead of anxious, we want to think peaceful, which focuses on the present moment. Okay. Number three, instead of depression, think vitality. And again, this makes me chuckle, much like the previous one. Obviously, nobody wants to be depressed, and vitality sounds nice, but there are things that we can do that make a very significant impact on which of these we experience. So, depression focuses on the negative and what you lack, what you don't have. And vitality focuses on the positive and gratitude for what you do have. I want to say this again because this is important. Depression focuses on the negative and what you lack, all the stuff you don't have. Vitality focuses on the positive and gratitude for what you do have. We all, if you're listening to this, I promise you, you have so much to be grateful for. And here is the reality. Anybody who knows me knows that I say this all the time, and you'll be hard pressed to find a more self evident truth in life. And it's this: you will find what you are looking for. You will find what you're looking for. Life is a gift, and we're not entitled to any of it, nor are we victims to our circumstance. And look, that's not to belittle terrible things that happen, because they do. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how we impact our lives today, currently, states of mind that we can take on to move towards what we want. And look, there is good and bad in every single day, in every situation. And if you're looking for the good, I promise you'll find it. If you're looking for bad or negative, I promise you'll find it. It's there to find if you're looking for it. So, what you focus on matters so much. So, again, I just want to touch on this one more time. Instead of depression, think vitality. Depression focuses on the negative and what you lack, what you don't have. Vitality focuses on the positive and gratitude for what you do have. So choose gratitude, choose to focus on the good. With that, I want to talk through the daily actions that I personally take, and I recommend you do the same. Implementing these habits in my life has not only changed so much in my personal life, my professional life, it's truly rewired how I think and honestly helped me get through some challenging times as well. So, the 5 actions that all of us can take each day to cultivate happiness are just like we talked about, be present. There is nothing that is the enemy of happiness more than worry or anxious thoughts about the future or the past. Be present in the moment. And this requires a ton of intentionality. It really does. We live in a world of social media and on demand information, and there's so many things vying for our attention. I believe that if we can get excellent at being present in the moment, it can completely reshape our frame of mind. So be present, number one. Number two, prayer and meditation. Regardless of where you're at spiritually, there is so much evidence that shows the value of creating space to pray, meditate, connect with something that is higher than yourself or greater than yourself. I promise the peace that this can bring is impossible to overstate. So please do some form of prayer or meditation each day. And third, again, we touched on this already, practice gratitude. What I do is I think of 3 things each morning that I'm grateful for. Don't use what you used yesterday or the day before. Think of 3 other things, no matter how small. In fact, sometimes small ones are the best ones because it teaches us or reminds us that we just have so much to be grateful for. We really do. So much. And so I come up with 3 things every morning and I think about them. I just take a few minutes to think about them and to feel how they make me feel, which fosters that feeling of gratitude. Like, man, I am just so grateful for whatever it is. It could be something, again, as small as the smell of the coffee in the morning or as big as your kid getting into the college. They like, whatever it is, we all have so much to be grateful for. And it is something that we need to practice. And I promise you, the more you practice gratitude, the less you'll see negative and the more you'll see the good that's all around you. Number 4, do something kind and encouraging for someone else. Do something kind and encouraging for someone else. If we're feeling anxious or depressed, with almost no exception, we are focused on ourselves, our feelings. And while some of them may be warranted, we may be going through a very challenging situation. The fact of the matter is if we get outside of ourselves and focus on someone else and doing something, again, encouraging or kind for someone else, it encourages us. Again, speaking from personal experience, if I'm ever, feeling bad about something, maybe feeling sorry for myself or something, one of the quickest ways to get out of that mindset is to just go do something nice for somebody else. Tried and true. Highly recommend making this a part of your daily life. It could just be an encouraging word, something simple. It'll make them feel good. It'll make you feel good. And it'll keep you, again, focused on positive things versus negative. And finally, number 5, physical activity. I think that we all are aware that obviously working out, exercise is good for us physically. It is really good for us mentally. The chemicals released in our brain from physical activity, this can change your state of mind very quickly. Uh, it's one of the most proven and documented ways to combat depression, actual clinical depression. Physical activity and exercise has been proven to reduce stress and reduce anxiety, and certainly can contribute to staving off depression as well. So, again, be present, some form of prayer or meditation, practice gratitude, do something kind and encouraging for someone else, and physical activity. If you do these 5 things, I promise you will feel more happy, you'll be more productive, and you will just feel better about your life. And I promise you, it'll move you further towards the life that you're after. I want to give one bonus thing. I highly recommend that you read or listen to something every day that inspires, challenges, and educates you. I am an avid reader. I love to read. Um, I am a fan of reading versus listening to something on this particular. I mean, I do both, but when I read, I focus on what I'm reading, and it's less likely that I get distracted. If I'm listening to something, maybe while I'm working out or driving, I listen to it and I can get a lot out of it, but it doesn't require the same amount of attention. So that's just my own take. I highly recommend reading. Anybody wants any good book recommendations, I can, probably recommend a book on just about any topic. Let me know. But read or listen to something every day that inspires, challenges, and educates you. Thanks for listening. Focus on the positive.